what I did is I made a price list here, okay? This is just an example. It can look any way you want to, but this is just an example of a price list that I created, okay? So what I can do, I can either add parts or I can update my parts with these new prices. So what I do inside estimating, I go to this add parts and update prices. And in this particular example, I'm just going to update the price and I'm going to update the default cost. And what I do is when I bring in this file, I just match up the headers with what they are inside Sage. So this part number equals this part number, this description equals this description, these units are the same, I don't want this cost, I want this to go here. Okay, and now I can click Add Update Parts, and this is going to update my existing parts with the new prices. So as you can see, super easy. It would be the same way if I was adding parts. We're going to be getting all those parts and putting those into your database here. Create any sort of assemblies that you wanted to, like these here. Again, these are just a conglomerate of parts that you need to make this thing. So in here, this is my estimate now, and I've got all the appropriate information that I need. Now you have places where you can add sales tax if you need to on certain items, how much you want to charge for overhead, how much you want to charge for profit on these particular line items. If you want to do an overall profit margin, you definitely could do that too. You can even put the vendors who you're planning to buy the materials from as well. And then the system will automatically issue purchase orders, or it can also issue RFPs for you if you choose to do that instead. And it'll also create a schedule for you as well. And it'll update this into your budgets and into your proposals. So after I've created my takeoff here, then I can add information like for insurance or bonding information if I needed to do that. And then like I said here, this is kind of the summary of my price and profit here. So I can add an additional margin if I wanted to, or I can override the margin. So here I've got 21%, and maybe I want it to be, 25% here. So it'll then override that margin, and now the 57,000 is what my total is here on this job as an example. Okay. So once you get your bid the way you want it to, then you can start exporting it into your budget, into a proposal for your customers, into purchase orders like I talked about, or RFPs. If you have any subcontractors, you can issue them subcontracts. And then you can also enter things into service work order tickets. And if you have someone who wants a little bit of more of a detailed change order, you can also do a takeoff on it and then send that information to a change order so you can create that change order for that customer. And then with this, the other nice thing is it creates this schedule for you. So here it's got my schedule for me here. So it's going to pull this based on how I have everything set up inside Sage Estimating. But I can change start and stop dates, things like that, if there's any floats. And then the nice thing is it creates a grid and a Gantt chart for me. Okay, so now I can see what's going on in my job. I can add predecessors or critical paths. I can do floats as well. And I can take a look at this Gantt chart, by the week, by the quarter, by the month, and by the year as well. So I have a lot of different ways that I can look at it. I can also schedule out my employees in here. So I can see, what employees are going to be doing what tasks. So I can kind of analyze the utilization of my employees. I can also do the same thing with any equipment, any owned equipment that I have as well. And you also have a place for subcontractors here. So this is another nice feature that's available inside Sage.